Wake up, get up, stand up. It's the morning lips, praises up. Start your week with us. Get up. It's the morning lips, feed your soul. It'll make you whole. He's in control. It's the morning lips. Get up, stand up, praises up. It's the morning lips.
Well, good morning. Good morning. It's the Morning Lift Show with Dr. Sean Kyle. It is so exciting to be back with you again on this Monday morning. And as you know, every Monday morning at 8 a.m., we are here live at Intellectual Radio and iHeart Station, as well as streamed broadcast live on my Facebook page, Dr. Sean Kyle. So if you're watching us live, hello. And of course, you can watch us on replay later on iHeartRadio, on IntellectualRadio.com. Here on Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram, TuneIn, Spreaker, and even now on Roku. So you have plenty of opportunities to catch the show. And I'm so excited, as you know, as the song says, this is a show that gets you going every week, gets you lifted, gets your week going. And we focus on spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental wellness here on the Morning Lift Show. And I'm so very excited today that we have a very special guest. We have Chef Julius Russell of Tale of Two Chefs. And I'm excited that he's going to be here today talking about feeding our soul. We had a very exciting election weekend. Wasn't that an exciting weekend? My goodness, all kinds of stuff going on. The weather is great here in Chicago. People were out barbecuing, doing all kinds of stuff, Chef. And now we got to get them back on track to get them physically moving on their wellness journey. Talking about some good food to feed their soul. And so let me give y'all a little bit of bio on our chef guest today, because he's going to be doing a live cooking demonstration for us. You want to get your pen and paper. You want to press record so you can play this back. If you don't know Chef Julius Russell, you have actually missed out on such a blessing. And we're going to bless you today with him. And his company, Tale of Two Chefs, people reasonably assume that the name, A Tale of Two Chefs, was inspired by the Charles Dickens novel, A Tale of Two Cities. Well, it was not. The truth is, Chef Julius named the company A Tale of Two Chefs because, like any good performance artist, chefs are known to have huge or alter egos that take up a lot of space. He's not saying he has either. He's actually saying he has both. So when thinking of the name of the company, he thought it would be cool to create a name that captured all of his kitchen personalities while honoring his unwavering love of both French and New Orleans cuisines. Chef Julius is rooted in French techniques and influences, whereas Chef Tiki is birthed from his Chicago family's kitchens and the flavors of New Orleans. Chef Julius Russell has been thoroughly educated and trained in all things French cuisine. He attended the New Orleans School of Cooking, as well as Le Cordon Bleu in Paris under one of his instructors, Patrick Touraine, and Princess Marie Blanche at La Cuisine Marie Blanche Paris. He has numerous honors and recognitions. Of course, he has his mother's stamp of approval, and we all know that's the most important. I'm a mom, and so I know if any of my kids become a chef, you need my approval first. But and his mother's stamp of approval says that Tiki's fried chicken is the best. He's had featured articles in various publications, including the Chicago Sun-Times, Chicago Tribune, and Indigo Magazine. He's had television appearances on The View, BET, Big Ten Network, Food Network, ABC, NBC, Fox, and WGN. He's been named the best caterer in Chicago by Uptown Magazine 2012. He has been on the main stage at the Taste of Chicago 2013 through 2018. He's been named a culinary ambassador to Chile for 2013 through 2019. And he has been in Bon Appetit and Chicago Gourmet Festival 2019. Now, y'all know that's a whole lot of honors and recognition. I am so blessed to have this chef on my show. He is on the Morning Lift Show. And although I am very honored, I know all of our listeners and all of the viewers want to hear more from our chef so they can feed their soul. So without further ado, Chef Julius, tell us about your wellness journey and how you became a chef. What inspired you to get going on this business, feeding people?
Well, good morning, Dr. Shai, and I really want to thank you for allowing me to be on your show. I'm really excited about being here today. And what you spoke about earlier is very important to me too, like with the weather getting nice, and you saw all the people doing a lot of outside stuff. I really hope that everybody stays safe because what's going on right now is real. And the fact that you bring up the point of wellness hasn't been more important than it is like right now. We're talking about just wellness in our health. Mental wellness is a big thing. As far as I'm concerned, food has a lot to do with that. With regard to how Tailored to Chefs started and how I came down this road, it wasn't me on my own. I've always loved cooking. And even while I was corporate, I would host dinner parties as a way of networking and really cook a lot. And I loved it. And people that came to the dinner parties that, have much higher up in the company and had traveled the world eating, were eating my food and like just really blown away about the food. And there were several people that said, you could become a chef, you could become a chef. And I had no interest in it. One of the main reasons I got into cooking, there's two reasons I even got into cooking when I was much younger. One was to learn how to feed myself because my mother and grandmother were convinced that, they were determined to make sure that I wouldn't grow up being a chauvinist, some chauvinist guy waiting for a woman to cook for me. So that was one thing. And then the reason a lot of guys do stuff is because of girls. I found out girls like food. And so that worked for me. That just worked for me. And so that's how it started way, way back. But when I was, working professionally, just really networking and stuff like that, and kept getting compliments about my food. And even what you just mentioned about with my mother and the fried chicken, like I don't really make it a lot because people wouldn't let me make anything else. So I started making it in college a lot. And for any of my college friends that had the fried chicken in college, like they'll still tell you to this day about how much they love my fried chicken. So, but I don't do it a lot. I used to do it when I would get in trouble with my wife when she was still here. And she has a lot to do with why there's a Tailored to Chefs, because when I spoke about taking this journey, she was just right there. And she's like, yep, let's do it. And it was really quick. And she did PR and marketing. My wife is Jada Russell, and she's no longer with us, but she was really a big part on, you know what, you can do this. And if it doesn't work out, you can always go back to what you did corporately, because I was doing really well at that. So there was no lack of fear on me, because once you start answering the questions about what you're called to do, the fear starts to move out of your mindset and stuff like that. And that's something that I try to do a lot with cooking and even with the mentoring and stuff that I do. If you can tap into something that you are willing to put so much work into, that you just believe and you know that the outcome is going to put you in a happier place, personally, spiritually, mentally, you got to take that shot. You just do. So I tell a lot of people, if you ever have like an idea or something you want to do that's outside of your day-to-day work, and you feel like you haven't gone to your true calling, I tell people all the time, I'm the wrong person to be around, because I will make you believe in yourself, and I will push you to be able to go after that thing, because you got to find out what exactly happens to you when you address your calling. So with that being the backbone of a lot of stuff I want to do, my wife pushed me to start the company. She helped me out tons. She was the one who had all the media connections. And she would watch me cook at home and how much fun I was having at home. And then when we would have these small dinner parties, how people would just stand in the kitchen and just watch me cook without movement. And the exchange back and forth and how much I care about serving people food. I love the fact that I am of service. And it means a lot to me. I take it very, very serious. And so like this whole journey doing like that, because I didn't know how to professionally cook. And the only thing I knew about some of the best chefs and some of the best food came from France. So that's what we did. We hopped on a plane and we went to France so I could learn how to professionally cook. Remind you, again, no fear. And came back and started cooking more. And then the phone started ringing and started traveling. And there were celebrity clients in different states. And I just got to go on this whirlwind of cooking for so many different people in so many places. But everywhere I went, I would extend my stay and go to like a local cooking school and just take just regular classes, just cooking with people and hanging out with people and weekend cooking classes and stuff like that. So my connection to cooking is very much about connection with people. As far as I'm concerned, it's something not just as a privilege and an honor to me. I have to do it. I have to be of service. And even with my spiritual growth, like this wouldn't have been put on me if it wasn't for about helping people. So some people think I just have a passion just for cooking. No, my passion and my love is for cooking for people. I want to feed you. I want to nourish you. I want you to know that somebody cares about you so much that when they cook for you, that's going to give you another day of existence, another day of life, another chance to be good, to love yourself, to help people. And I do that through food. I just quite simply do it through food. I let people know that, people want to ask me what my style is and, what style of food I do, what's my top dish and stuff like that. And I flat out tell people this, even if you go to the website, A Tale of Two Chefs, and that's TWO, I cook the food you want. There's a lot of fancy food out there, and I know a lot of people watch TV and they look at all this stuff that looks super, just so creative that it looks like museum pieces. But you might like the way it looked, but that's not what you're craving. That's not what you want. And I cook food that you want. So a simple dish, I want to make it taste extraordinary. Just extraordinary, and it comes from picking up different things. So like and food, marketing of food, especially during the pandemic, is just through the roof. You can look on television, you can look on social media, you can look on any type of publications, and you're getting bombarded with food. You just are, and people are home a lot more, and they're cooking a lot more, but they're also home in different capacity. They're working from home a lot while they're helping their kids e-learn a lot. Wow. And everybody has cabin fever, and you're dealing with your kids with cabin fever, and your spouse with cabin fever, and your partner with cabin fever. Well, sometimes, how about somebody else do the cooking for once? Just do the cooking for once. And I know that we have the opportunities for restaurants, for pickup, and you got to patronize the service industry. We need your support in order to stay here. This pandemic has had a big effect on all of us. And any true test of a food establishment is their ability and their desire to share first. It's not just about dollars and cents, because we need that to keep the business going and stuff like that. But when you put that sincere gesture of sharing with people and the nurturing of their body and nourishment and stuff like that, it just means everything. It helps you mentally when you can deal with the stress. You got all this stress of day to day that you're dealing with, and you come home and you get a text from me, or you get, or you were gone and I dropped off and you come back and it's like, whoa, my meal from Chef Julius is here. I know that this was prepared for me to be happy, for me to enjoy. And that is, so much goes into that. Even with the guys that work with me, they sometimes laugh at me about like, dude, this dish is really good. And I'm like, it can be better. It can be better. Like, good is it's not an accomplishment. It's an expectation. So we can push this. And I like to share knowledge about food. So like when I was telling you about the marketing, different food ingredients at different times get a ton of marketing and PR. You see it on TV with commercials and stuff like that. And I remember when the first indoctrination of everybody went crazy for kale. Everybody went crazy for kale. And as a green on its own, I was not a fan of kale because of its bitterness. And I know that it needs help. And I'm fine with that. When certain greens, and you give them help, they become a lot more fun to eat. But the other thing behind kale is that we, as African Americans, are the people that brought kale to this country. See, kale was very prevalent in Africa. So this is one of our greens. This is a motherland green that we brought when we came over here and incorporated into our traditions and stuff like that. So when you talk to people and you share with people that they have a cultural connection with a particular green, well, it's a different view and looking at how they enjoy that green. It's not about, well, you got to eat greens just because to be healthy, and you got to start like, I don't like scaring people into eating better and that things that are better for them. Look, there is nothing wrong with a beautiful piece of fried chicken. You just can't eat it every day. And it's not just because it's fried chicken, it's because so much has been done to certain ingredients. So much has been done to the chicken. So much has been done to the oils that we cook it in and stuff like that. So you got to really pick your spots on how you indulge with all types of food. There's so many things being done to vegetables that you got to pay attention to the vegetables too, that you use and stuff like that. Another reason I got into cooking is because everyone deserves access to a great tasting meal. You know, so this is the type of road I've just been on for a long time. And some of my things that I have on the website and stuff like that come with a higher price point. And that's due to some of the ingredients that we use. And that's also due to the fact that people like the excitement of having me cook in their home. Now, I started out as a private chef, and I'm still a private chef at my core. So that's what we would do. We would travel to different homes, this country, out the country, different places, and we would cook for people in their homes. So it was like people who had their own personal restaurant for themselves. And it was a lot of fun. And then with the pandemic hitting, that changes everything. Whereas, all right, your personal restaurant is in your own house. So you got to do that. And so we still wanted to be able to provide some of the experiences where you have us, you know, in your place, but actually being able to physically have us. So as things stand right now, we're currently doing in-house stuff for up to 6 to 8 people. You know, no more than that. I have a few rules because of the way I keep myself protected and we keep the client protected. One of the things that's just, I mean, it's kind of a downer, but people got to get out the kitchen. Like when I show up, it's kind of my kitchen for the night. So you got to let me have. You got to let me have my kitchen, man. So, but, and we use a lot of natural ingredients. We just do. We don't use a ton of salt, but we use really good, simple salt. We have our own pepper blend. We got our own Creole dust. You know, I have access to my own truffles out of France, so I'm not using truffle oil. You know, I throw truffles on a lot of stuff, which is one of the reasons why some of the stuff is expensive. I'm saying, hey, like, but it's real. It's not this chemically made stuff. The dish that I'm going to be doing for you a little later is something that's very straightforward and simple, but because of a few touches that I'm going to do, it kind of takes it to another place, you know. But I'm a kid. I grew up in Chicago, and I'm a kid from Inglewood that became the culinary ambassador to a country I had never really heard of. So, like, there's very little you can tell me about what can't be done. You know, so I know that was a lot, and but I get so happy about this and being able to share with people. But you know, I have some things that make me a little unpopular. So we have holiday season coming up, and people start discussing, you know, dressing and stuffing and all that kind of stuff. Well, one thing, I never cook with green bell pepper, ever. Not one dish do I have has green bell pepper in it. And I'm going to tell you why. See, it's unpopular. And I'm going to tell you how.
Is that? I got to stop you with that. Now, how is that you can make dressing without bell pepper? Come on, Chef.
Well, no, without green bell pepper.
Okay.
See, this is the thing that people forget. Some of the vegetables and stuff that we got happened during times just because of war. They were cheap and they were given to us. So in most cases, well, every case really, a green bell pepper is an unripe pepper. Now, once it ripens and it turns a color, it becomes sweet. And if you ever bit into a green bell pepper raw, I don't want you kidding yourself. Just because you heat it up don't mean it's going to taste better. All right. It just ain't. All right? I know how good your dressing is. I know you love it, but your dressing ain't good because you got the green bell pepper. I'm just letting you know that right now, especially since Thanksgiving is coming up. This is a little help from your chef to help you out as you go down that road to doing your dressing.
Help us out, because we all know that we do the best dressing, right? Help us out, chef. Man, we eat bitter.
When you go to the grocery store and you're looking at them bell peppers, slide on over there to the red or the yellow. Just give it a shot. I'm telling you, you won't miss the green. But that's the kind of fun that I like to bring to my cooking. That's the type of approach I like to bring to my cooking. I let us know that there are several things out there. And also remind us of some stuff. Like I know a lot of people, you know how you hit it's almost like every year the sugar versus salt and grits war comes up. So you got sugar grits and you got salt grits, savory grits, stuff like that. And then you got a group of people so confused because now everybody doing shrimp and grits, they don't know what to put in the grits because it's supposed to be savory, it's supposed to be sweet. Well, the reason the sugar even got into the grits is because during World War II, there wasn't a lot of food, and grits being made from corn and really easy to have and stuff like that. But they had to put something in the grits to get the kids to eat, and the kids respond to sugar. So that just kind of stayed over and over, and it just carried on. So I understand where it comes from. I'm just saying you ain't got to stay there. It's so much sugar in everything that you can kind of pass on the grits. It's sugar in your grits. Like people that eat at a certain sandwich place that's known for like $5 sandwiches. They have so much sugar in their bread that there's a whole country that doesn't even deem it as bread anymore. Because of how much sugar is in the bread. And that's processing. And those are the things that go into your system that your body doesn't know how to process. When you hear the argument of butter versus margarine, I say use butter, just use less of it. Because your body knows how to process butter. When you throw margarine in your body, you might feel good about lowering the cholesterol, but the chemicals you are telling your body to adjust and deal with, it's just not that easy on the body. So it's like you feel good on one side, but on the other side, you're doing some other stuff. So I like people to just be informed about stuff like that. When I do classes with kids and I ask them what they like, what they want to learn how to cook and stuff like that, and you get the fried chicken question all the time. And, I with culinary students that believe in their fried chicken recipe and they want to have a chicken place and somebody will laugh. And I say, don't you ever, first of all, don't laugh when somebody wants to step out and do that, right? Because that's their opportunity to share with people. On top of that, I let the person who's talking about the fried chicken place that, listen, don't ever let anybody make you feel uncomfortable about fried chicken. It was us who taught the rest of the world how to fry. We used to have palm oil and we would season proteins and put it in the palm oil until it fried up crispy. So it was Africans who created the whole process of frying foods. And it spread all over the world. Every culture has a version of fried chicken. Every culture has a version of hand pies, whether it's an egg roll, whether it's, labneh, like whether the Indian stuff or rotis and stuff like that. Everybody has some type of rolled up dish that you eat, the empanadas, samosas. Like every culture has that. And we used to pound out dough, fill it with product, and cook it up. You see what I mean? So as a culture, we have a connection to food. I want people to get more excited about it. Instead of like every morning when I wake up, I am thankful not just to be up, but every morning I wake up, I get to cook. So you can't tell me nothing because I get to cook every morning. Everyone, I get to cook something. And if I'm cooking, that means I'm feeding myself, I'm feeding someone else, and somebody's going to be happy.
Well, Chef, let me tell you, I love to cook too. I am nowhere near your skill level, but every morning I like to make my family breakfast. So I understand that feeling. I feel like I put a ton of love in that breakfast, regardless of what it is. And I'm not even a breakfast eater. I cook it for them. I cook it
You
because
know,
I want them to have the first thing they have in their mouth of the day is their mother, their wife, their daughter's love. It comes straight from me, out of my hands, through the food. So I get it.
that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. My favorite meal of the day actually is lunch. And that's because whenever I take lunch, I take lunch. All right. I don't work through lunch. I don't talk on my phone during lunch. I sit down and have lunch. And sometimes my lunch is extended, but I do it. My favorite meal to have out is breakfast because breakfast cooking is actually some of the toughest cooking to do that people don't realize. When you got a table and you got 4 to 5 people and then all of these ingredients that cook at different times, but they're all quick, have to be done at the same time for each of those people. And they have to get to them while it's still hot and still give them the experience that they have in their head. Short order breakfast cooking, like those guys are true champions. Fine dining is its own thing and the difficulty within that. But like, that's the beauty of cooking. There are so many components and so many styles to it that you get to still feed and make people happy. We have a big boom with like luxury cakes and stuff like that. And I've seen them and I'm fascinated by it because I just don't have the discipline for it. I just really don't. So when you think about, people who do these really intricate cake designs, that's discipline on a whole nother level. I spent a lot of time in France, so I got a nice hold on desserts. But I got a guy that works with me, Tim. Tim is my dessert guy. So I can throw ideas together and say, I want to do this. This is what I'm thinking about. This is what I'm trying to do. Tim says, okay, gotcha. And then Tim comes back to it. And I'm like, okay, adjust this, gotcha. And then we got another great dessert. Like I got a really good team. And one of the things that's really cool also about my team is that all of the guys on the team are from Inglewood. And we didn't even know each other. It wasn't until we started working together that we found out. And there's a young lady on the team, and her background is in New Orleans. So, I got my Chicago culture, but we all do fine dining cuisine. And then I got my homegirl that, it's never an opportunity not to talk about the Bayou and what we miss about, Louisiana. So, like I said, when I tell you how, like, I'm blessed around on all these things, it's true because I keep myself immersed in it. I've gotten, and during, pandemic and stuff like that, people are sleeping less. And what I found out is that it's good to try and take time to fine tune what brings you peace and what brings you joy. And I find my peace through cooking. And I try to stay there as much as possible, especially in light of some of the personal things that I've had to experience over the course of the last year. It's very important for me to find peace because I'm still here for a reason. I'm still here answering to a calling. And I got to find that peace because there are people to feed. When we don't have orders and we still have food, me and my guys, even though we're not supposed to, we pack up and we feed people that are less fortunate. You see what I'm saying? When we do virtual classes and we put the website up so people can send us a gratuity, we take the gratuity and we go feed people. It's all about providing nourishment, sharing love. But like when you talked about this election weekend, one of the prevailing things that so many people that don't even know each other posted was about the fact that they can feel good about humanity still has a shot. And these people don't even know each other, but we were all feeling it. Because a lot of us not were just shocked. A lot of us were hurt for what we saw 4 years ago. And now it's like in everything else, like 2020 got one thing right. You see what I mean? With everything else 2020 has been on, it got one thing right. And if that ain't a reason, especially for us in Chicago, that's not a reason to wake up because we don't get 70s in November. And we had 70s on election day. We had 70s throughout the week. We had 70s over the weekend. And we got a Monday. This is the most Friday Monday ever, okay? This is the most Fridayest Monday ever, okay? And we need this, especially with those that still have to go to work and you're going to the grocery store and you still have certain errands to do. You're going to get outside. And if you know, like I know, when you get outside, people be peopling, okay? People be peopling. And you need some things to just bring you back to peace. I was out running errands and doing drop-offs, and there was so many people outside. And I had to get back inside. When I got back inside, the first thing I did was cook something. I just cooked something. I was like, whoo, let me get to my happy place. You know, these pans, they love me. These seasoning blends, they love me. All the stuff in the refrigerator loves me, you know, and I get to just come back and do something, which is one of the things I'm really excited about the dish I'm about to make for you today. But if there's any other reason that I can tell you why it is that I do what I do, because it's just the right thing to do. Cooking for someone is just the right thing to do.
I love that.
It really is.
I thank you. Wow, that's amazing. That's an amazing testimony. And I love it that you're saying that this is your calling. It's the right thing to do, that, you know, you show your love of people this way. You know, it's just amazing that, you know, we all come to a place of knowing what we want to do when we just take time to think about it, to pray about it, to sit in it, and think about what brings you joy, but what also you can do to serve others. And so when you cook and you're putting all that love into it, and your whole meaning behind it is to serve them and to spread love, it comes through in your food. I'm looking at what you got on this chopping block. I you know, I'm wishing that this wasn't a pandemic and we were in person, because I'd have my fingers all in that bowl. You'd be slapping my hands, girl, get away from that. What is that? What we got going on over there? Because I had to eat 2 granola bars on the way in the studio this morning to keep myself from getting real hungry. Because I'm like, I know Chef Julius. I know his food is delicious. I've had it over and over again at several events, and my mouth is watering. So tell us what you're preparing for us this morning.
I am going to make what we call Chef Tiki's salad. Okay, and but the thing that I really like about this is that it still blends both sides. So there's definitely some Tiki-isms and Tiki influence in this, because we're going to start with we're using things like kale and red cabbage, but I got some French green beans in here. We got some sliced apples. We're going to use some Creole dust. But the other thing that I'm going to do with putting this together is I'm going to make the champagne citrus vinaigrette. And when I speak about salads and stuff like that, people are like, of course he's making a salad because that's what we got to do in order to be healthy. Nah, this is kind of a fun. This is one of those ones that it makes you want to eat. And I'll tell you right now, like even with me personally, I'm a big fan of salads that people make for me. If more people make you a salad, you will eat salads more often, rather than you going through the process of trying to put your own salad together, because it just doesn't seem like fun when it comes to assembly. But when somebody makes that salad for you, you sit down and that salad comes out, and it comes out on that plate, and it has, you know, the chicken laid across a certain way, and then you got your little side of the dressing and stuff like that, and it's sitting in front of you. You're like, yeah, this is for me. I'm gonna be okay. So one of the first things I'm going to do with making this salad is I have a aluminum pan on my stove, because we're going to add some Chilean pink shrimp to this. So I got the pan going on a low heat, and this is another good fun cooking technique. When you want to create like a non-stick opportunity for any pan, it doesn't have to be a non-stick pan. Some of the non-stick pans have coatings on them, and there's 2 things that people need to remember. One, those coatings wear off. All right, and they can get into your food. Another thing is that if you follow a couple simple rules, virtually any decent pan becomes nonstick. And I'm not talking about you having to go spend $3,000 on a pair of pants, on a set of pants. You know, if you take a little bit of time, and since you're not going out right now anyway, people ain't going out to dinner, all that stuff all the time. You got a little extra disposable income for those that still have the blessings of being able to earn. You got a couple $100. Take about $300 and get a set. If not, take you $50 and buy a piece at a time. And we're going into the holiday season where everything is going to get put on sale anyway. So go a piece at a time and put together your set. It's not about it matching. It's about it being of good quality, because these are the vessels that you're going to use to feed yourself or feed your family. So you heat the pan, and then you add whatever fat. So we're going to use olive oil for this one. So you heat the pan, you heat the oil, and then that's what cooks the protein. So I just give this about 2 tablespoons of oil in the pan, and I'm moving it around for those that can't watch. But I'm moving it around to make sure that the oil shimmers and goes all over the pan. That means that the pan is hot. So it goes back onto the stove, and then we add the Chilean shrimp. When you hear that sizzle, that means the pan is the right temperature. That also means you're on your way. So we give it a little shake. And I'm hitting it right now with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Goes into the pan. You got your sizzle going, and I'm hitting, like, do everything. Tiki do everything with Creole dust. So we got that going. Now, the next step that you're in listening, and those that are watching, what you're seeing is a really cool culinary trick. Okay, it's one of the best ones I ever learned. It's called leave it alone. Stop shaking the pan, stop turning stuff over, leave it alone. Okay? The pan is hot, the oil is hot, you got some seasoning on the food. It's knowing what it's doing. You gotta leave it alone. Because I know to all the clever editing and stuff that you see on TV, you want to shake, you want to flip, that's not how it works. They got clever editing tools, okay, that you don't have in your house. All right, you don't know how many times they shook that pan and the food fell out the pan. You only saw the take that they shook the pan and got the pan right. So what I'm saying is, leave it alone. What this does, it's going to develop color. You're going to get a little bit of a crust on the protein. Also, when you go to move it, it'll come up really easy, because right at first that protein is going to stick to that pan, and then during the Maillard effect, it's going to start to slowly let go. Okay? That's how you get that crust when you're doing a steak. That's how you get a crust on a piece of fish. You know, when I was showing one of my cooking classes, I was showing people how to do this chicken dish, and everybody kept turning the chicken faster. And now you got all this light-skinned chicken out here, and I'm like, see, don't be coming to my cooking class with your Drake chicken. I need some Billy D. Williams chicken. Y'all giving me this Drake chicken just because you won't leave it alone. Okay?
I love it. Leave
it alone. That's a big thing. All right. So this has been going for about a minute, 2 minutes. I pick it up, and I'm just turning it. It turns real easy. It's not even sticking. Now, because it's shrimp, this is another helpful hint. Shrimp, well, these are pink shrimp, but a lot of shrimp that we buy in the States and domestically aren't pink. Now, the thing is, you want to pay attention to that pink, because shrimp have its own internal thermometer. When it's pink, it's done. Okay? Now, depending on the size of your shrimp, if it looks like a C, it means it's cooked. If it looks like an O, it means it's overcooked. Okay? Now, this is something that you can do to help from overcooking your shrimp all the time. 1, don't crowd the pan. You got to let that air circulate to get around the pan. 2, when you flip the shrimp and it's sitting there for 30 to 45 seconds, when you don't have a lot of stuff to do, or you don't have a lot of shrimp to keep cooking, this is another really cool culinary trick. You turn the fire off, you move the pan off to the side, it's still going to finish cooking. See? So we got this obsession about cook it till it's done, cook it till it's done. It is done. What you're doing, what a lot of people do, is that they watch so much on TV, or we grew up eating so many things that were just overcooked, we think that's how it's supposed to go. You can fully cook items by letting the residual heat that it has finish the cooking for you, rather than heat on the pan to do it. Because then when you pull it off of that pan and you put it onto the plate, it's still cooking, and now it's just overcooking and just good further. You don't want rubbery shrimp. And I bring up shrimp as another reason too, because when you go to the grocery store and you see the fresh shrimp and you see this cooked shrimp, I really encourage people to stop buying cooked shrimp in that grocery store, because when you buy the cooked shrimp and then you take it home and you cook it again, like, you're getting no real flavor and none of the real benefits from eating shrimp. That's why when you look at a simple technique about how to cook shrimp, it really is easy. It's a little oil in the pan, some salt and pepper, a little bit of heat for a little while, and you just pull it off to the side. And that's a lot easier to do than what people think you have to do in order to deal with shrimp. All right. But when I see it, I see us, and I love us. And when I see them in the grocery store and they're asking for instructions from the people behind the fish counter on how to cook the cooked shrimp, and the people behind the fish counter answers these questions. And sometimes I keep my mouth shut, and then there are other times I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I say, baby girl, don't listen to that.
Stop
that
them,
shrimp is
chef.
already cooked.
Stop them, chef. Make sure you
Yeah,
stop
that shrimp
them.
is
You
already
see
cooked.
anybody in the store with that cooked shrimp, you tell them to put that down.
Yeah, and it's expensive. How you gonna charge me more for something you already cooked? All right, and I gotta go home and cook it again. All right, we do heat and serve. You warm our food up. We done did all the cooking. But like, you go to the store and you getting cooked shrimp, I mean, unless you dip it in cocktail sauce, I don't know what you're doing with it. I just don't. So our shrimp is done. Now we want to put together the vinaigrette, because that's going to go into the salad. People forget, in a lot of cases, most times when they have a vinaigrette, they have a lot of the ingredients already at home. So vinaigrette is basically a mixture and emulsification of oil and vinegar. Okay? So when you make a vinaigrette at home versus I know we like our salad dressings, and a lot of times we go overboard, but when you make a vinaigrette at home, it's simple, it's easy, it tastes better, and it's actually better for you. Okay? So I got my little bowl, and what you see right here is a shallot. Now, a lot of people walk right past these when they're in the grocery store. And it's in the onion family, but it's not as arrogant as an onion. So like white onion and yellow onion, I never cook with. I cook with shallots, and I cook with sweet onion. The white and yellow are they take over a dish. So, all right, why do you think, okay, if the onion ain't arrogant, why you crying when you cut into it? If that ain't arrogance, I don't know what is. Okay? The first thing, when you involve yourself with that vegetable, it make you cry. I don't need that. I don't need that stress in my cooking. I don't need that stress in my cooking. This shallot is nice. She's sweet. She's polite. She says please and thank you for adding me to a dish. I can work with that. So we're going to we slice it lengthwise, and then we're going to give it a little small chop. It's a small dice. I'm small dicing right now on the cutting board. And I'm only using half of this shallot. Now, if you do have white or yellow onion in your home right now, you can do that to make a vinaigrette. But I would encourage you to get to the store the next time and pick up shallot. It just mixes better with the dish. So right now into the bowl, I have diced shallot. To this diced shallot, I'm going to go in with 2 tablespoons of mustard. I like mustard. We make our own, and I like a brown mustard, but I like mustard. I like mustard a lot. So we make our own. So I'm using 2 tablespoons of my brown mustard that we make. But wait, 1, because that's a small salad. So only a tablespoon. Okay? Into that, I'm going with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and naturally, a little bit of Tiki's Creole dust. All right. Now, to the mustard, I'm going to add my vinegar. Now, my vinegar and the vinegar olive oil mix is going to be 1 part vinegar, 2 parts olive oil. Or 3 parts olive oil if you like it to spread out more evenly. Because I like vinegar too, but 1 part to 2 could be a little too much of a punch. So you do 1 to 3. So
what kind of vinegar do you use? What kind of
this is for this one, because of the vinaigrette we're doing, I'm using a citrus champagne vinegar. And that's the whole thing about vinaigrette. If you want to do a lemon vinaigrette, use lemon. You want to do a grapefruit vinaigrette, use grapefruit. You want to do an orange vinaigrette, or like right now, a lot of people are using orange. Get you some orange, get you some poppy seed, get you some canola oil. You do that. You see what I mean? So now this is fragrant. I got the 1 part vinegar in there with the mustard, with the salt, the pepper, and the shallot. Here's my olive oil. Now, my olive oil is a little different because every week we make garlic olive oil. So we take 10 pounds of garlic cloves, put them in the large pans, large pots. We cover it with olive oil and we let it simmer like tea for like 5 hours. So the garlic itself floats, become nice and soft. We mash that up. That goes into sauces. That goes into soup. You know, a little touch of that roasted garlic flavor. We add it to some butter and spread it when we make sandwiches. So we use that. And then our olive oil got that sweet roasted garlic flavor to everything that we saute and we cook it. So as I'm adding the olive oil, I'm stirring with a whisk. Okay? And this is emulsification. So you just really add it slow and keep stirring, and speed it up so it emulsifies. So now you got that vinegar and that olive oil working together. You got that mustard in there that's going to give you your creamy texture. You give it a stir, pull it out. I'm going to use a spoon. I'm going to give it a taste. I like it, but I want to spread it out a little greens. It's a little thick. So I'm going to add a little bit of oil. And because it's olive oil, remember, this is good for you. Now, I'm going to add a little bit more black pepper because I like black pepper, and naturally some more Tiki's Creole dust.
Yeah, put some more of that Tiki's Creole dust in there.
So
yeah.
Now here's the next step. After this is emulsified, you got your salad greens, and this is kale. This is black kale, red kale, and I have some red cabbage in here. I'm going to take just a little bit of the vinaigrette and pour it over the salad. And then, using the best mixing tool that you have, my hands, I'm going to toss the vinaigrette with the kale and green mixture. Now, for the hardcore people, you done right here. You're finished. If you want to just stop, you take a little squeeze of lemon over this, boom, great. So my greens are dressed. I go into my dressed greens. I go into my salad bowl, which is right here. And the greens got that sheen on it.
Yes. My taste buds are going. My goodness.
So when you see that sheen on it right there, now you're like, okay, it's still a bowl of greens. Where's this fun part that you was talking about, Chef? I got you. So get these out the way. I'm just moving the seasonings, you all, for those that can't see. When you use color, it's a good indication that you're eating healthier. All right? So I don't want you focusing on just what people say, well, that ain't healthy, that ain't healthy. Look, anybody scaring you into eating better, I'm not saying they don't care about you, but they're putting more energy into the fear versus the outcome. So maybe they just don't know how to express it better, or they just feel like they've reached to a point that they've exhausted their opportunity to share with you how they care about you. So I don't want you taking it personal and getting scared. So the first thing to this I'm going to add are some sliced apples. And my apples have been out for a while. And the reason that they don't look green is because when you slice the apple, you put it in a bowl with some lemon water or some lime water, and that'll stop the apples from oxidizing and turning green. So I'm going to place some apples around my salad. Now that's going to give us another little acidic crunch and texture. And that's the fun part about salads, when you get texture. And this is a Fiji apple. Delicious.
Don't start that because you're making me even hungry. Don't you start that.
Hey, I'm saying. Now, to this, now we got apples. And we got the greens. I'm going in with French green beans. Now, these have been blanched. What that means is that they've been boiled for 2 minutes and then shocked in ice water so they stop the cooking. And your green vegetables should be crunchy to get nourishment. So I'm placing some of the French green beans into the salad. Now we got double green. We got the red. We got the apple, citrus, right? Into that, I'm coming with dried cranberries. Sprinkling that around. All right. To that, I got some strategically placed sourdough croutons that I'm just going to drop around here.
What kind of croutons?
Sourdough. We take sourdough bread, toast it with the garlic oil, toss it with the garlic oil, put it in the oven, It's 15 minutes and it's done. To this, I'm going to add, okay, now this is what I told you. This is when things get a little crazy, but this is what's fun about it. This is what makes it a fun salad. I'm going to add a little bit of what could be considered like a muffaletta mix. So this is chopped cauliflower, olives, red bell pepper, and carrots. So we're going to, since it's chopped, we're going to sprinkle it all around, and that's going to give us some nice zing as well. And then I'm coming in with some grape tomatoes, some heirlooms. So this is some yellow and some red that I'm using. These are nice and sweet. They have flavor to them. A lot of the big ones, the beefsteak tomatoes and stuff like that, don't have a lot of flavor. So if you're going to eat a tomato, it should taste good. It has some kind of punch and taste to it. I did not grow up liking tomatoes as a kid. Like ketchup, like tomato sauce, but didn't like tomatoes. And when I got to France is when I first fell in love with them. And then I got called to cook in Israel. And in Israel, I found out that's where they created the cherry tomato and stuff like that. So I started tasting all these varieties of cherry tomatoes, and I'm popping them like they Tic Tacs. And I'm like, how come they don't taste like this, in the States? What I had to do is I had to start going to farmers markets and meeting farmers and having all the different varieties. So when you hear about tomato season in Illinois, run, do not walk, okay? Roast them in the oven, puree them, put it in your blender, make some of the best jarred tomato sauce you ever have. And you can put that in the freezer and it'll just hold. Now,
when is tomato season in Illinois?
Late fall. Early fall, late summer, early fall is when you'll see a lot of them. Now remember, that Chilean pink shrimp that we had is right here. We're just going to do that around the salad. And I'm just laying it down. So I want you to, as you're jumping around the salad, it'll be fun for you. Also, it's still a little bit of heat on the shrimp, so it's going to wilt the lettuce just a little bit. And now that we have that part done, because it's me, I'm going right back over the top of it with a little bit more black pepper, a little bit of Tiki's Creole dust, and I'm just going to spoon a little bit more of the vinaigrette right on top so we can get into that shrimp.
Yes, my goodness.
And that is, this is outside. We got to do one little thing, which is just it's a thing for me because you're getting so much fun with it. You got to clean the plate up a little bit. And then when it's all said and done, this is Tiki's Chilean shrimp salad with French green beans and a champagne citrus vinaigrette.
Yum,
and
yum.
Like I know with a lot of my clients, there's a crisp glass, a Sauvignon Blanc that goes right along with it.
Yes.
And that's how something as simple as a salad can be fun in the kitchen. And it makes you want to eat salads more because there's a lot going on with this. It's popping and bursting with flavor. You don't have a heavy, creamy vinaigrette or salad dressing all over it. You still got enough salad dressing that you're going to want to dip anything in that. You're going to have some French fries you're going to want to dip in that salad dressing. I can tell you that right now. You see? But that's why, and it's hearty. It's hearty. It's a lot of shrimp in there, and the shrimp are nice and sweet and plump. And we didn't overcook them because we took them off of the heat at a certain time. So even if you look closely at it, and I'll try and bring this up, but you see a lot of that shrimp that has a C. It looks like a C. Is that because it means it's cooked? It's not an O or overcooked. You see what I mean? So when I say about how I love to share and cook and share my joy of food, it's because I love people. And so I love cooking for people. When we do this salad, when we offer this as part of our Living Greens section on my website, again, Tale of Two Chefs, TaleofTwoChefs. There's a Living Greens section, and it talks about the different salads that we do. You can offer them as kits. I mean, you can order them as kits, and you do 3 at a time, and you can choose the protein component that you add to it. But we give them to you 3 at a time because we don't want you to do a one-off with a salad. We want to give you multiple salads so it becomes a habit. You see? And it becomes fun. You can mix and match the proteins, we mix and match the salad bases, and we put it in separate kits so you can have the fun with your own personal assembly. So you can say one day, you know what? I'm doing grilled chicken, but I'm putting that on a Caesar salad. But even with the Caesar, we make our own citrus vinaigrette. So we got a little grapefruit juice in there with the anchovy and everything. Like it's a lot of details of everything that we do. We make so many of the condiments and stuff that we serve. For those who took my last cooking class, they are still going crazy over this seasoning that I have called wizard dust. And the reason we call it wizard dust is because it makes everything taste magical. It just does, no matter what. We made potato chips at an event before and dusted them with the wizard dust, and we were putting the potato chips out in between the food courses. People couldn't stop eating the chips. So we had that. So we're going to be making that for sale.
What's in the wizard dust? What's in the wizard dust?
Stuff. And then, but like I said, with the living greens section, it's fun. We call it living greens because we want you healthier. We want you feeling better. And when you eat food that tastes really good to you and you thoroughly enjoy, it helps release serotonin in your brain, dopamine in your brain. And those are the feel good components. So you want that. Those are feel good hormones. You want that happening. And when your brain goes back to this made me happy, that helps with your peace of mind. That helps with your wellness. It helps you deal with what we're all dealing with. Make no mistake, I'm going through the same thing everybody else is going through during this time. I'm keeping focused on my peace. I'm keeping focused on my joy. And I'm sharing with people because we all need help what we're dealing with. And this is how I do it. This is exactly how I do it. So, I mean, and so I know, like I said, I know I go off on long things, but like I said earlier, cooking for people is just the right thing to do.
I love it.
It's the right thing to do.
I love it. Oh my goodness. I can't believe we have spent all this time together. I want to reach through this screen here and grab that salad and just put my fork in it. I can't believe how beautiful that turned out. I mean, I can believe it because I know how great of a chef you are. So I can believe it. But just watching it and watching you do it right there, I'm telling you, you made something simple that I think many of us can at least try to do, chef. And please always tell people to put that cooked shrimp down. But I want people to experience your food from you. And I corrected my banner. As you see, I changed that website. I corrected that thing because people have got to get a hold of you, have you come out and do cooking demonstrations in their home, have you come out and do catered meals. I know you do the dining with chef experiences for people online where they can cook with their couple.
Yeah, the virtual dinner parties. Yes.
There you go.
And you can sign up for those. You can sign up for all of those all via the website. I mean, it's a lot of fun. We are so looking forward to being able to do more outside public stuff. But until then, the virtual things, the ordering for the meal prep, like everybody else is doing right now, your small dinner parties where you have us on site, like that. That's what we're going to do to stay in contact with you. We're going to share with you. We're going to show you love and show you that we care, and we're going to receive it back from you.
That's right. That's right.
It's the right thing. It's the right thing to do. And thank you for sharing the website. It is tailor2chefs.com. You sign up, you get a free recipe as soon as you sign up. As soon as you sign up, you get a free recipe. And on top of that, you can ask me questions. I respond to the emails. I respond to the questions. When you put an order in, it comes to me. You understand? I cook your food, and it's the food you want.
Well, okay? I can attest to it. I can definitely attest to it. It is delicious. I'm putting in a new order today. I want you to cook it, of course. And I just cannot wait. I'm putting in my order for dinner. I'm going to tell my family, forget that. We putting in our order. If I got to come by your house and pick it up, I'm going to come get it. So we're going to take care of that. I love it. I love that you've been on my show. I love that you shared.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me.
Your wellness
And
journey is just
using
beautiful.
your platform for someone like me, somebody in this industry, the way you share and give back with all of your guests, all of the guests that you have, which I love about your show, tap into community. And it's community first, community first. And that's what food is for our community. That's what we believe. And that's why we do it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have had fun with you today. I know the listeners and the viewers are excited. I see all the comments. I'm looking at all the shares. I'm like, my goodness, this is going to be a hot show for a while. I'm so excited to see all the playbacks because you have really blessed us, and we want to have you back on the show again. Of course, maybe after the holiday, after all your rushing, you got a little time for us. You can come back and do something in the spring or what have you. But in the meantime, again, I just want to say thank you. The Morning Lift Show appreciates you. We are an outpour of my ministry, Faith Forward Ministries. So we're all about spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental wellness, getting people on their journey in life to do better, to move forward in faith so that they can accomplish all of their dreams and goals. And you today have given us new tips, new advice, new ways to feed our soul and get our physical wellness together while we get all the other aspects of spiritual, emotional, and mental wellness together. And so if you want to watch this show back, you can watch it on themorningliftshow.com. And when you go there, you also can look at all the other episodes. This is episode 11. You can look at the other previous episodes beforehand. There's also a calendar there that shows you who all of our upcoming guests are and what their topics are. Like next week on November 16th, Monday at 8 a.m., we'll be right here. We'll have Spring of Springs Place here in the studio. She'll be having a topic called Sister, Keep Your Crown. Sis, keep your crown. Our emotional attachment to our hair. And that is such a personal thing for so many women. So I hope you'll tune back in next week. Definitely check out the website for information about, not just the show platform, but about my ministry. If you want to hear my backstory, my journey, it's all there in video for you. Everything is open and available to you. I want to say hello to all my Faith Forward Ministries followers, and of course, my Sisterhood Society of the She Shed, where we get our wellness. Over 2,000 women on Facebook. Of course, I got my t-shirt on. She becomes in the She Shed, because we're all about getting our peace there so that women have a place. And again, Chef Julius Russell, you can find him at tale-of-two-chefs.com. Sign up for his newsletter, sign up for his virtual food experiences, and come back and see us on the Morning Lift Show every Monday at 8 a.m. right here on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeartStation, and right here on Facebook Live on Dr. Sean Kyle. Stay lifted. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.
If you have enjoyed The Morning Lift, please visit our website at themorningliftshow.com. You will find upcoming events as well as options for donating to our 501c3 organization. Be inspired, be uplifted, and be blessed. It's The Morning Lift.